want to thank you, Assemblywoman Sumter, for your leadership and for helping facilitate this call and inviting me to speak. I bring you greetings from the NAACP National Board of Directors, and I bring you greetings from the NAACP New Jersey State Conference, where I serve as the state conference president. Reparations. In the words of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson of Texas, when asked about reparations, she said, "I simply ask, why not, and why not now?" Reparations are powerful, not only economically, but reparations are powerful morally and spiritually. They carry an inherent mea culpa that they carry an inherent acknowledgement of the wrongs that were done, a debt that was owed, and the willingness on the part of a nation and this state to pay it. It is impossible to imagine America without the inheritance of slavery. Black people don't need another apology. What we need is safer neighborhoods, better schools, a less punitive criminal justice system, better health care, and jobs. Black Americans are the only group that can singularly claim to have been slaves under the auspices of the United States government. What we are doing here today is not a symbolic action, but asking that legitimate legislation, more specifically A711, S322, be passed and signed into law. That should be easy for us. For what we've done and what we continue to do as a people, this country was built on the backs of Black people, this state included. Many who ventured to this country after us now live off of what we fought, bled, and died for. Our votes, Black votes, keep elected officials working. So again, this should not be problematic. The stain of slavery was not just inked in bloodshed, but in policies that have disadvantaged African Americans for generations. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said back in June of last year that he opposes reparations, telling reporters that, "I don't want reparations for something that happened 150 years ago." He said, "We've tried to deal with the original sin of slavery by passing the civil rights legislation and electing an African American president, Barack Obama." Well, shut the front door. This country's history of slavery is a stigma and a stain that continues to be felt today. That McConnell wants to write that off is ignoring the impact and legacy of the country's history. How many McConnells will we have here in New Jersey? More specifically, the McConnells we vote for at each and every election. Those we cannot look to for any sort of moral authority or guidance on how we should be addressing the issues of slavery and the impact today on income inequality, curtailing opportunity, and civil rights and voting rights. Elected officials running around this state talking about how they see things through the lens of civil rights and social justice. Sounds real good. Well, the struggle it's taken for us to get some of the easy things we've asked for done is verification that some of those lenses need to be cleaned. In closing, the debate over reparations for Black Americans began not long after the end of the Civil War and was long defined as financial compensation for ex-slaves and their descendants. Our now emboldened opponents of reparations often frame the issue as an unfair solution that places the blame or burden of the legacy of slavery on white Americans who were not alive at the time and were therefore not responsible. We, on the other hand, will continue to point to racial disparities across New Jersey and American society, as proof that while whites living today were not responsible for what came before, they have nonetheless benefited, just as Black Americans have experienced the lingering effects of the slave system. I urge you to pass this bill and to pass it now. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, conference leader. And thank you to each of you. As you see, the chat is blowing up, and keep in mind, every question that's in the chat is why we need a task force. There is a formula to select the task force. There's also a body of work that we as legislators are seeking from the task force. Who, what, where, when, how, why, what areas should we focus on? But it starts with having the task force to do the study, to outline the history. So please go to the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice website, check out the bill at the New Jersey Legislature website. Please reach out to Speaker Coughlin, Senate President Sweeney, Governor Phil Murphy. We need the bill posted first in committee. The bill is already for committee, so we need it posted at the next session date. So I need us to double down in that space. And then we need to call for it to be heard by the full body of the assembly. We need everybody to be a part, as you see this great quilt of support and supporters, from the imam to the bishops to the rabbis to our Christian brothers and sisters to our elected officials to our community stakeholders to our civil rights partners. We can't do it without you. As legislators, we've done our part. We've introduced the bill. Now we need you all to do the advocacy. We know that we have to agitate to make something happen. So let's start the agitation.